So a very warm welcome to all of you for making the time to join our ASEFClassNet 17 faculty collaboration on learning about AI and learning with AI. So today we will begin the session with a very warm welcome remarks from our Education Department Director, Ms. Rekha Tosha, and then we'll take a group photo to keep the memory of beginning today's journey with this faculty collaboration project. And then, of course, from our side, we'd like to introduce you to the project, about our organization, and then, of course, specifically on the ASEFClassNet 17 faculty collaboration project. And then, of course, another element that we added to this project is the advisory board. So we'll introduce you to that as well. And to support you in this journey, we have some participation notes. So we will talk about that as well. And then we will pause for a question and answer session. And then comes the very exciting part, getting to know you. So you'll have a little bit of ice breaking through self-introduction from your side. And then, of course, we will close the session by telling you what's next and what to expect for next session. So without further ado, let me welcome our Education Department Director, Ms. Rekha Tosha, for her welcome remarks. Rekha, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Jyoti, for the kind introductions. It's really lovely to see you all here in this virtual meeting today, where we are kicking off the 17th ASEFClassNet project and faculty collaboration for this year, for 2024. So very good morning to all of you who are joining from Europe, and very good afternoon, perhaps also evening already, for those of you joining from Asia. I would like to start first by congratulating you for making the decision to join this project and show your dedication and eagerness to learn more about how to learn about AI and how to learn with AI, which is the title of our project. We chose to focus on this topic already a couple of years ago, but with the appearance of new AI tools, which are now available to everyone, such as artificial intelligence, ChatGPT, we see that the developments are really speeding up, and this AI revolution is really affecting education as well. Just to give you an example, just imagine that when first ChatGPT was published, it took only 2 months of time for ChatGPT to reach 100 million registered users. And for Facebook, a platform I believe most of you are familiar with, reaching 100 million users took 4.5 years long time. And for Twitter, it took 5 years. So this is a good example that serves as a reminder as well on the unprecedented pace at which AI is spreading in our societies and also impacting education. So I feel we all share the sense of urgency to address this in teacher training programs as well, and help the next generation, the current generation and the next generation of teachers to prepare for such challenges and help to steer AI development into the right direction. So that's why we created this project, which is basically a platform for like-minded people, teacher trainers, academics to come together to discuss the development and share, exchange knowledge with each other. So let us leverage this platform for a rich exchange of ideas, experiences. All of you come from very different backgrounds, and all of you have something very valuable to bring into this project. As we embark on this journey, I would like to share 3 pieces of advice with you, basically 3 points that I would like to encourage you to keep in mind as you go through this program. And the first point is really, in order to make the most out of this opportunity, I encourage each and all of you to give in this project, give your knowledge, give your insights, speak up, share what's on your mind, share what the challenges are you facing with your peers. And you will find listening ears in this group, because I'm sure they are thinking about very similar things or facing very similar challenges, no matter which country they come from. And also, in order to make the most out of this project, I encourage you to also listen actively to your peers, to take away knowledge as well. So consider this project as an exchange, which is a two-way street. You give and you take knowledge from this project. The second piece of advice has to do with the collaborative element of this program. So when you went through the documents that we shared with you earlier, probably you are already aware that this project starts with a self-learning phase, which is really more about building knowledge, exchanging knowledge, and then transitions into a collaboration phase, where we will ask you to come up with innovative project ideas and work on these ideas together in teams. So I would like to ask you to enjoy this process. Well, of course, I believe everyone will be focused on coming up with the best project ideas. Let's not forget about the fun in this process as well, and enjoy the power of collaboration, the power of different perspectives, and the power of intercultural collaboration. And last but not least, my third piece of advice to you is also try to make the most out of this network and the most out of this collaboration with your peers. I hope some of you will even make friends during this project as you learn about each other, support each other. And I also hope that you will stay connected after this program as well and bring these project ideas even further, perhaps with other stakeholders as well. So these are the three pieces of quick advice for this journey. And as we started together, let us engage in thoughtful and introspective conversations about AI, ethical considerations, challenges, and what innovative ways can we address these. Thank you so much. And let me give back the floor to Jyoti, who will walk you through on other more practical and exciting aspects of this project.
Thank you so much, Rika, for such a warm welcome, as well as for strategic and very practical advice to set the scene for our participants. I'm going to stop sharing my screen so that we can take a group photo. So with that, let me quickly go to the gallery view. I think if I can request you to turn on your cameras. Yes, I see many faces now. That's great. I think we have now in total 28 members here, but I only see maybe 10 like faces on my screen. So yes, more faces are coming. That's amazing. Okay, so I'm going to take a screenshot now. So let me just quickly, and one colleague just joined. So I'm going to count to 3. 1, 2, 3, and please smile. Okay, so there goes our group photo. Thank you so much for being patient with this. And now I'm going to put up my screen again. I hope all of you can see the screen. I see thumbs up. Okay, great. Okay, now, who are we? What is ASEFClassNet project? Let's learn about our organization as well as the project that you are participating in. So the Asia-Europe Foundation, in short, also known as ASEF, was created in 1997, and it's an intergovernmental organization, and it's an intergovernmental not-for-profit organization, and we are based in Singapore. We have 51 member countries across Asia and Europe, and we also have 2 other organizational members, the European Union and the ASEAN Secretariat. Our mission is to facilitate bi-regional knowledge exchange and peer-to-peer collaboration like this one. And of course, in terms of our work, we cover different themes. So at ASEF, we have 6 themes: culture, education, governance, media, public health, and sustainable development. Of course, we are from the education department, so we cover the theme education. What are our objectives and the type of impact that we aspire to create? Of course, the key one is to facilitate and foster intercultural connectivity, since in these 51 countries that we work with, we have diversity of cultures, diversity of people. So in a way, we want to foster intercultural connectivity across all these 51 countries in Asia and Europe. And then moving on from the facilitation of this, we of course aspire to raise awareness and build knowledge and digital competencies for teachers and those who work with teachers. And then in the end, our key goal is to also advance international efforts through partnerships and collaboration. For this project, it's now on artificial intelligence and education. So a little bit of historical background of the ASEFClassNet project. So it started in 1998, more than 25 years ago. And at the time, it targeted secondary and vocational school sector. And of course, after all these years, more than 2 decades, ASEFClassNet is the one and only network for educators coming from the ASEF countries at the secondary and vocational education sector. So far, we have reached over 2,000 teachers, and through them, sometime directly, sometime indirectly, over 35,000 students. And since this year, we have introduced a new element, mentorship. So we already have over 40 mentors working together with our participants. And over last 2 decades, we have supported our teachers to work in 430 school collaborations. And then since 2022, so 2 years ago, we introduced an element called innovative teaching practice to enhance teaching and learning across schools in Asia and Europe. So far, we have 75 innovative teaching practices touching topics such as well-being of teachers and students, climate change education, and most of them are related to actually AI and education. And now this one that you are part of, faculty collaboration. So this is a new initiative that we have pioneered last year, so in 2023, and we started with 23 members, and then we, of course, now this is the only network for educators from higher education institutions as well as teacher training institutions, so far coming from over 25 countries. Until today, we have, including you, over 50 academics, researchers, and teacher trainers who are part of this network. And last year, as part of the first cohort, 8 collaborative proposals were developed. And among them, some of them are ongoing, some of them are taking, at the implementation stage. And one of them this year in February was successfully implemented with 364 participants who came from 61 countries. It was, of course, one of the most successful collaborative proposals from this project. And now, let me give you an overview of the overall project for this year that we call ASEFClassNet 17 in short. So the ASEFClassNet 17 is a project that consists of 2 tracks, 2 program tracks. One is called the school collaboration. The other is the faculty collaboration that you are part of. So the school collaboration track includes teachers, school leaders, and trainee teachers, meaning teachers who are studying to be a teacher in schools at main universities. And the faculty collaboration, of course, consists of teacher trainers, academics, and researchers like yourself. Both of these programs have the similar design. So there is a virtual stage for school collaboration. It's a month longer than the faculty collaboration. And then there is a hybrid implementation stage. So for you, the virtual knowledge building phase actually begins today and it will close in July. And then the next phase will begin in September and then it will close in November. I will share more details as we go through the introduction. So who are we working with? We are working with an organization, mainly an organization called ARCAI. So it's a UNESCO associated organization called International Research Center for Artificial Intelligence. And we are also working with, specifically for this project, Philippine Normal University and ESTEN. Some of you are coming from actually ESTEN network. I see some of you are nodding. So it's an association of teachers, Association of Teachers Education Network in Southeast Asia. And then, of course, we are working with another organization called Open Education for Better World, in short, also known as OE4BW. It's also a UNESCO associated organization who also work together with ARCAI. And these organizations, these two, Archaea and Open Education for Better World, are based in Joseph Stefan Institute, based in Ljubljana, Slovenia. Some of the colleagues who are coming from Slovenia, I assume that you know very well about these organizations. And then, of course, a local organization in Singapore called EdTech Marketplace Asia, part of the Singapore Education Network. So with that, who is the team behind all of this project work, right? So you have already heard from our Education Department Director, Rekha, and my name is Jyoti Rahman, and I am also one of the project coordinators. And we have another colleague hiding behind the camera, Miss Angie Tho. She's the project manager of this ASEFClassNet project. And you, from time to time, will hear from her as well, apart from me and Rekha. And now, very specifically, the ASEFClassNet 17 Faculty Collaboration Project and the Faculty Advisory Board. So you, those of you who are part of this project, there are so far in total 33 academics, researchers, and teacher trainers coming from higher education institutions, as well as Ministry of Education or government-associated National Teacher Training Academy or institutions. And you come from 17 ASEP countries, 11 from Asia, 6 from Europe. And we are hoping to get a few more candidates from European countries. So the number might slightly increase, and we will update you on that once it does. And we have not too bad, I would say, 60% female and 40% male, almost there in terms of equality. And then in terms of the program element, what do we have? So as I indicated earlier briefly, we have a virtual knowledge building and cross-faculty dialogue stage beginning from May. In this phase, we have the self-learning one that kind of gives you an opportunity to learn from the expert, and the cross-faculty dialogue from peers, like basically from each other. And then the hybrid implementation stage. So here is something for you to note. Those of you who successfully completes the virtual knowledge building stage and the dialogue stage will jump into the next stage, that is the hybrid collaboration in action phase, that consists of a proposal development and a conference, on-site conference. And this year, the conference will be in Manila, Philippines. So let me tell you a bit more about the virtual knowledge building phase. So in this two stage, self-learning, why do we have this? So we want to create an opportunity for you to learn from experts. All of you are working in university or teacher training institutions. Some of you are already an expert on AI in education. Some of you are not. So we want to give you that platform to learn from the experts on this topic. And if you are already an expert, to contribute, right? So the key idea is to really build knowledge on AI in education and AI in education application tools. And then the cross-faculty dialogue is mainly to create a peer-to-peer learning opportunity, and also to create an opportunity for you to collaborate with each other for developing project proposals. And then the hybrid implementation stage, when you move on to that stage successfully, it's an opportunity again to actively learn from your peers, to taking the peer learning to the next level with taking action on AI in education. So that's learning about AI, and AI in education application tools. So that's learning with AI. And then the conference phase is, of course, those of you who successfully design a project, implement a project to showcase the results and updates if you have already implemented it. And it will take place from 11 to 15 November in Manila, Philippines. And then, of course, finally, those of you who are successful, you will get an invitation from us. And now you have heard about this proposal development. What is it? So as part of this project this year, we have 4 categories. So the first category of proposal development is research. So anything that has to do with research, for example, it can be document or policy analysis or both. It can be comparative study, case study, perception survey, etc. Of course, on either learning about AI or learning with AI. And then the second one is a conference. It's event. So for example, conference, symposium, webinar series, on-site meetings, etc. So the one that I mentioned that was successfully implemented was actually a symposium. And it was run by Dr. Wayne Holmes, our participants from the first cohort from University College London. And then the third category is curriculum. Of course, some of you want to, after the knowledge that you build from this project, design curriculum for the teachers that you work with, or academics and researchers or colleagues that you work with in your institution. So you can take approach, for example, it can be subject-centered, like you were designing a math curriculum with a focus on using artificial intelligence tools. It can be something that you are designing on learner-centered, again with AI tools, right? Or it can be something that it's related to pedagogy, specifically on pedagogy for those of you who are expert in that area. Or it can be something generic for teacher trainers, school leaders, or even edtech designers. And then finally, of course, through this project, we want to promote innovation, we want to promote collaboration. So by giving you categories, we don't want to limit the possibilities. So we have something called the wild card. So the wild card category is something that anything else that doesn't fit into these three categories, but you are absolutely passionate about. So you can propose that proposal under this category. And now, so how will we really select participants for the on-site event or for the final stage? We hope that all of you can actively participate in all virtual sessions, or if you miss the session for very good reason, you can watch the recording. And of course, the quality and strength of the proposal in terms of the design, impact, and results that you hope to create. And of course, the commitment to improving and implementing the design proposal. Why we say implementing and designing? Because some of you might be project owner who are designing, and some of you might not have time to design a project proposal, but you just want to participate. So that's why either you successfully complete as a project owner, or you participate successfully as a participant of a design project proposal. And of course, given the limited resources, we will only be able to invite a pool of successful participants to the on-site conference. And finally, the advisory board. So this year, to support our participants better and also to create meaningful projects, we introduce advisory board and who are part of this advisory board. So last year, when we had the first cohort, we had some outstanding participants who either successfully implemented a project and really demonstrated outstanding result, or who showed commitment to support the ASEFClassNet project for this year and to also increase the visibility of the project and increase the impact that this project is creating. And the reason we have selected them because of their, of course, academic expertise in the field of artificial intelligence and education, so that they can support when it comes to the topic area, right? And at the same time, also to share insights and give feedback to improve the quality and strength of the proposal that you will be designing. And finally, we might receive a lot of proposals from each of you. So it might not be possible to implement all of them, right? And also we want to keep the motivation and engagement. And for that, with the advisory board members' support, we will select the strong proposals to implement this year. So the members, let me introduce them to you. So we have from Asia, Professor Li Wen. She's the Director of Center for Future of Education at the Beijing Normal University in China, who showed outstanding commitment to host faculty collaboration on-site event in China next year. Dr. Wayne Holmes, who successfully implemented the symposium with over 300 participants from 61 countries, who was a participant last year, and also he is actually globally known AI and education expert, and currently an associate professor at UCL Knowledge Lab in University College London. And then we have Professor Miki Sugimura, who is very well known for her work in the field of education for sustainable development, who also actually supported us to have the first project on AI and education, first ASEFClassNet project on AI and education back in 2019 in Tokyo, Japan. And she's currently also the UNESCO Chair for Education for Human Dignity, Peace and Sustainability. And she's another participant from last year who is now actively implementing her project that she developed as part of the ASEFClassNet 16 faculty collaboration, which is on comparative study on AI and education. And finally, we have Professor Margus Pedaste from Institute of Education, University of Tartu. Professor Marcus Pedaste brought his team member from the Institute of Education from University of Tartu and the whole technical team to collaborate with Professor Wayne Holmes to support him implement his project. So because of their expertise, a strong motivation and commitment to really support educators across Asia and Europe, they are part of the faculty advisory board. And now some participation notes for you. To make the best out of this project, I think I don't have to repeat because Rekha very organizedly and very specifically highlighted them in her 3 points. But just to highlight again, we hope that you can join all the sessions and actively participate, share and exchange knowledge with your peers. And also you open-mindedly learn from your peers coming from different background and very actively designing and participating the project that you were going to be part of. And of course, at the end of the day, we hope that you can inspire each other, not only within this cohort, but also in your own institution. And also you can increase the visibility of the conversation that is taking place on AI and education through this project, if you're comfortable through social media channels or other professional network and channels that you have. And so here we have a question for you. Of course, we want to create a platform to socialize and communicate better, specifically effectively communicate. So what would you prefer if I can ask you to type your response in the chat box? Would you like to be part of a Facebook group, LinkedIn group, or a WhatsApp group? What's most suitable for you? So depending on the most responses, we will then get back to you on that. And as you are contributing your time, time and knowledge, of course, we want to acknowledge that. So some of you may need it for your professional development or your professional achievement as part of your institution. So we will be very happy to give you a certificate of completion or a letter of appreciation or acknowledgement highlighting what you have achieved in this project if you successfully complete at least the virtual phase or the whole project. So now, after a lot of information, I think it's time to take a pause and hear some questions from your side to clarify anything that is needed clarification. So maybe I will stop sharing my screen so that I can see everybody. Yes. So you can either raise your hand and then unmute yourself, or you can type in the chat box.
Perhaps Jyoti, you can ask with questions from the chat box. So I see Lavinia posted already 2 questions. She's from Scotland. So her first question is, what about applying ethics for the projects in the implementation stage? And are we aiming just towards designing project proposals, or are we also talking about implementation projects before November?
Very good and practical question. Thank you, Lavinia. So in terms of applying for ethics for the project, so of course, I think you were talking about an institutional review board from your from where you work. Could you clarify that so that I get the Lavinia? I see that. Yes, please go on.
Hi, Jyoti. Yes, thank you so much for the presentation. I guess it would be useful to know a little bit more about the context of what is expected from these proposals, because you mentioned proposals, but you're also talking about implementation of proposals. And if that's the case, some of us work within the research space and would be interested in being able to publish about or share, not just informally within this network, but share more widely potentially the findings of these projects. So that also adds the timeline of applying for ethics.
Yes.
So I was worried a little bit about the November timeline and how does the network, what's the network's view on ethics?
Mm-hmm. So in terms of ethics, of course, we have the faculty advisory board. When you submit the proposal, and since you mentioned research, so I'm assuming that you will submit a proposal on research category, let's say. So we are currently developing a project project proposal guidelines together with the advisory board, which we will share sometimes in the middle or at the end of the self-learning phase, so end of May, let's say, so just before you start to work on the project proposal phase. So from our side, we will ensure as we evaluate your project proposal that the ethical side of whatever you are going to design and implement is on the right track. However, let's say for your involvement, you need an institutional clearance from your own institution. In that case, we expect you to let us know. For example, do you need a support letter? Do you need some sort of application processes? Then depending on that, we will support. So as an example, one of our participants last year needed a formal letter from us to actually join, addressed to her supervisor. So we have provided that. So things like that, because every institution varies. So please, for all of you, we kindly request that you check this institutional requirement and let us know so that we can prepare in advance. And then you also mentioned about, yes.
Yeah, in terms of the timeline, is the expectation that the projects will be completed by November, or can there be, you know, the projects have been approved at the proposal stage, they've started and are being implemented, but maybe not everything is completed by November?
So for that, it's actually very important for everybody. So in terms of this 4 category, you might design something that might require a bit more time, right? If you are having an event, for example, you can design it depending on availability anytime. So chances are before November, you're done. But if it's a research that takes a bit more time and has few stages, it's not done. So in that case, in terms of when we consider whether it's a successful project or not, we will look at how it's progressing, how it's developing, and then the support that is needed. So as an example, one of the comparative study that is being done now, it's from last year, it's actually they are going to implement it in November, and they are also gathering, and now they will be sharing the insights in November this year. So then we consider that as a successful project because they have been progressing and then actually producing results. And then you talked about funding. So of course, we have limited amount of funding. Our core responsibility and also vision is to bring people together so that you can find resources within yourself. So for example, University of Tartu, they collaborated with Dr. Wayne Holmes from University College London to successfully implement the symposium. So that's an example how, as peer, you can support one another. So that's the whole idea when it's come to funding. However, let's say for your project, you want to apply for a funding. For example, there are Erasmus Plus grants, there are grants from ASEAN. So if you need ASEF's engagement to support you, either as a member or as part of your proposal course, we will be able to provide that support. And may I please invite Rekha to share a little bit more information on this as well?
Yes, thank you so much. I hope this already answered this question to some extent, Lavinia. But to summarize it, so basically we are able to offer a couple of scholarships for the outstanding proposal makers to come and attend the conference in the Philippines, which would cover then travel and accommodation. But we appreciate if you can already start looking for alternative options and perhaps relying on them, because as Jyoti said, unfortunately, our funds are limited. Okay, we received another question from Dustin, also from the UK. Would there be any access issues for colleagues in China to any of those services? Sorry, that's regarding the WhatsApp and the Facebook. So yes, thank you so much, Dustin. And I also see that Guang Cheng also replied from China that yes, we know both platforms are blocked, but we also know that there are ways to go around those hurdles. So and thank you for also confirming that Facebook is perhaps possible. So we will summarize these responses and then come back to you with the result. Okay, if there are any more questions, feel free to take the floor and ask them. If not, then we would like to do a quick round of introductions.
So now, of course, we want to get to know you and hear from you. And I hand over to Rekha to break the ice and to initiate the introduction.
Thank you so much. So since we have 26 colleagues joining the call, I think the most efficient will be if we do it in breakout rooms so that everyone surely gets the chance to speak up, and probably can do 2 rounds of breakout rooms. And then with that, you will hear from already a couple of colleagues. And we would like to ask you to share which country you come from, what is your work scope. What are you responsible at the university as a faculty member? Why did you join this faculty collaboration program, and what do you hope to take away from this program? So what are your expectations to the program, to each other, to us? I would suggest we start with breakout groups, and in this case, you will have about 10 minutes and then we can do 2 rounds for breakout group discussions. So you will be assigned automatically to your room. So please go with the flow, but you will have the option to come back to the room anytime if you find yourself in a group that perhaps no one else is active, but we encourage everyone to turn on their cameras again and then get ready. So the breakout room is opening now. Okay, and I believe all the breakout rooms have closed and everyone is back to the main session. So over to you, Jyoti, to close today's session and share with us what's next.
Thank you, Rekha. First of all, thank you everyone for taking the time to introduce yourself and also to share your expectation with your peers and with us as well. And now, so the self-learning phase begins next week on 8th of May on Wednesday with a thematic webinar on learning about AI and critical reflection on the threats as well as opportunities. And for this, we have 2 speakers, Dr. Wayne Holmes, who you have already heard about. He's associate professor at the UCL Knowledge Lab in University College London. And also we have Dr. Kyung-Mi Lee, associate professor in Faculty of Education at Seoul National University in Korea. So hopefully it will be an insightful session for all of you, and hopefully all of you can join the session. If not, we will be recording the session and then we will share with you in due time. So with that, thank you so much for actively participating and also for your time. And we hope to see you next during the first self-learning session. So with that, have a very lovely evening in Asia or an afternoon in Asia and a very good day in Europe. Bye-bye.
Bye.